Hello and welcome to another video here at AV Forums. This time we're taking you through our recommended picture settings for the Panasonic TX-50DX802B Ultra HD 4K TV. Now before we start, we should warn you that these settings are for the TV that we were reviewing. They may not be applicable for your TV and they could in fact make the picture worse rather than better. However, if you want to try them out and see what the picture looks like, then feel free. So first of all, let's go into the menu system by pressing the menu button on the remote control. That takes us into the picture sub-menu, and then we're going to go across and up into the viewing modes. This TV has a number of different viewing modes, and you could, if you want, just select either THX Cinema or THX Bright Room straight out of the box, and that will give you a pretty accurate picture. THX Cinema for use in the evenings, and as the name might suggest, THX Bright Room for using during the day when there's more ambient light in the room. We're going to use Professional 1 and 2 for our settings, and again we're doing a day and a night setting. So Professional 1 will be a daytime setting, and Professional 2 will be the nighttime setting. Starting with Professional 1, we'll go into that, and we've set the backlight to 50, which gave us a nice bright image for daytime viewing when the room's got lots of ambient light in it. So use backlight setting of 50, contrast of 90, brightness 0, colour 50, tint 0, and we put sharpness down to 0. Colour temperature, we're using warm 2, which is the closest to the industry standard of D65. We've turned vivid colour off, colour remaster off. Now adaptive backlight, you can use either min or mid. Both those are very effective at giving you a nice dynamic range and deep blacks without crushing detail. We found them to be quite effective, but we wouldn't recommend using max. That can result in haloing. So either min or mid. Generally we've used mid. And then ambient sensor off, noise reduction off, MPEG remaster off, resolution remaster off. Intelligent frame creation, if it's film-based content, we always recommend turning this off. However, feel free to experiment with it when you're watching video-based content, particularly say sports broadcasts. And now into the advanced settings. Contrast control off, color gamut. Use Rec 709. The settings we're showing you here for day and night are for standard dynamic range content. In other words, all the content that you currently watch, pretty much basically TV broadcasts, DVDs and normal Blu-rays. Basically everything except for Ultra HD streaming and also Ultra HD Blu-ray. So use Rec 709. White balance, we go into here. This is a pretty accurate grayscale out of the box. So there's a little bit of fine tuning required in the 2-point, +4 on red gain, -2 for blue gain, -2 for red cutoff, and -1 for blue cutoff, and that gave you a very accurate grayscale. So you could try using those settings. Color management. Now again, you can try using these settings. We can't guarantee it'll make a picture better, but if you want to try them out, here they are. Those are for the primary colors, and then over here we got the secondary colors. And then going back out. Gamma, for gamma, we're using a gamma of 2.2 for a daytime setting. And then we can leave that. And down here in screen settings, always make sure you've got 16:9 overscan turned off. Otherwise you'll be overscanning or scaling the image and losing high resolution details. So make sure that's turned off. Okay, that's our daytime setting. Let's go back up to the top. And we'll select Professional 2. As you can see, it's got a bit darker now because it doesn't need to be so bright when you're watching TV at night. If an image is too bright in a darkened room, it can be quite fatiguing for the eyes. We're using a backlight setting of 30, which we measured to be basically 100, 120 nits, which is ideal for watching TV at night. Contrast, 90 still, brightness still 0, color still 50, tint still 0, and sharpness still 0. Again, color temperature, warm 2, and you can turn vivid color off, color remaster off. Adaptive backlight control, we're using mid here. You can try using min if you like. We wouldn't recommend using max. Ambient sensor off, noise reduction off, MPEG remaster off, resolution remaster off. Intelligent frame creation, again, for film-based content, we recommend turning it off, but feel free to experiment with video-based content. In the advanced settings, again, contrast control is off, color gamut, Rec 709. White balance, now for the nighttime setting, we're using +4 and -2 on the blue gain, and that basically gave us a very accurate grayscale. And then in the color management system, here are the settings for primaries. and then down here with the settings for the secondary colours. And then for gamma, we're using a gamma of 2.4 for the nighttime setting. And again, make sure screen settings you have 16:9 overscan turned off. Okay, those are our settings for a day and nighttime setting for standard dynamic range content. We're now sending an HDR signal to the TV, and you'll see a little message flash up in the corner of the screen when it receives an HDR signal. And then if you go into the menu system and the picture submenu, although it's still viewing mode professional 1, once it detects an HDR signal, it automatically defaults to backlight of 100 and contrast setting of 100. In fact, the majority of the settings we're going to show you in the HDR setting are the default settings. So brightness is still 0, color 50, tint 0, sharpness 0. Color temperature is still warm 2 for HDR, and most of the other settings are off or grayed out. Adaptive backlight control mid, and down here under advanced settings you want to make sure that color gamut is set to Rec 2020. Otherwise that's about it for HDR settings on this TV. The rest of it is either a default or a grayed out setting. So those are our settings for a day, a night, and HDR content for the Panasonic TX-50DX802B. And thanks for watching.